But obviously, this is the month of May, and so people are probably asking, well, why are we having a legendary NASCAR name here for our IndyCar show? But you have a lot of respect for the IndyCar world. I think more and more every year about the IndyCar series. You've done a lot of the television broadcasts for the Indy 500, so your knowledge about our highlight event that's coming up is very high. And we've also got Kyle Larson, who is coming to race at the Indianapolis 500. So my first question really is, with this month coming up, how does the month of May hype feel for you? Do you think that it's looking to be quite a strong month of May? There's a lot of excitement around what we've got coming up here for the IndyCar series.
Yeah, I think that the way I look at it's going to be a lot different, I think, than the traditional IndyCar fan, and certainly anybody in the industry. Anytime that we have one of the NASCAR guys going to compete, that's a big deal. I mean, I can't describe how important and cool and great that is for motorsports in general. But it really, I mean, the NASCAR guys, I remember so many years sitting in the hauler before the Coke 600, watching y'all's race, the Indy 500, play out. And it was like this happy, welcome distraction from the traditional anxiety of a race day morning, particularly the 600. You're sitting around all day long waiting on 600 miles and wanting to do a good job in front of your hometown. So that was kind of always the memory I have of Indy and watching Indy, and how we really kind of appreciated and respected the event from the stock car world. And anytime any of our drivers would come over there to compete, man, it was even better. We were even more interested in how that might play out and how successful they might be. And obviously, many times some of the IndyCar guys would come over and try our world out, and that was always fun as well. And you wanted them to do well. And so it's just like anything else. You didn't want them to do too great, but when Juan Montoya came over here, for example, I wanted him to love it. I wanted him to get out and go, this is fun. These cars are fun. The racers are great. You wanted him to say all those things that would pump up your discipline, right? But you didn't want him to dominate and win every single race and make us look bad. So it's a little bit of a balance, but I say all that because I'll have those similar emotions this particular year, whereas, obviously we had Jimmy Johnson in the field over the past couple of years, but, Kurt Busch was the last, full, active Cup racer to come and run both races. So in the same day. So I remember how excited we all were about that, how we wanted Kurt to do well. And I feel the same way with Kyle. I want Kyle to have a great experience, and I want it to be something that you guys enjoy or IndyCar enjoys. I think that he's a racer. He races everything and anything. He's kind of like Mario Andretti. He's not so much a stock car guy as he is just a great, all around total package. So it's a lot of layers to this. But
Absolutely.
You're certainly going to have more NASCAR people tuning in than ever before. And, but we all know, regardless of that, it's the biggest motorsports event in North America every year. And so, I realized that over the past couple of years that I've gotten the good fortune to be there. I'm a NASCAR fanboy through and through. I thought the Daytona 500 was the greatest thing ever. And, it's the most important race I'll ever have competed in. So I was very, proud of it. But when I went to Indy and stood there on the grid or saw the tradition, the pre-race and all of that, there's nothing like it. There's nothing that compares to it that I've ever been to. Certainly a bucket list item for anybody who's a sports fan, not just a motorsports fan, but a sports fan. They should all have been to the Indy 500 at least once in their lives.
Absolutely, I agree, and I love I love your respect for that. I love that you have seen, so many different events in your career, right? So you have a great outlook on just the spectrum of our sport, right? And let's talk a little bit about the series, though, as well. Because right now, I think NASCAR is doing great. I think there are a lot of people that don't. Now, NASCAR Twitter is wild. There's a lot of people that get angry about certain things, and this is an IndyCar program, but the state of NASCAR's got great TV ratings right now, I'd say, for the most part. I think there are a lot of people watching NASCAR. There's a lot of energy there. Some great races. I mean, goodness gracious. We've seen the closest finish in NASCAR history. We've seen 3 wide across the finish. Great stuff. When you look at IndyCar so far, there's only been a couple points races, right? So it's tough to really tell. But do you think, we're always trying to build this series up and work on, how we get it to the next level. But is it something that you've been paying attention to so far? And you can be honest, too. Like, has it been something you've watched and, hey, wow, we had Penske craziness going on there? Has it been something you've paid attention to so far this year a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't hide from the headlines. No matter what form of motorsport it is, you're going to, F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, you're going to hear about the big stories if you're kind of living a lifestyle that I'm living. And I'll say I see a lot of similarities in what IndyCar is kind of going through. They're sort of, they've stumbled and stubbed their toe a little bit in certain moments, and NASCAR has, man, dude, I see that. I see that going on, and I'm like, yep, it's just like NASCAR. NASCAR doesn't always get it right. And we, just even in, I hate to even say this, but even in yesterday's finish, as amazing as it was, all of us were able to find something wrong with it.
I know, yeah. We can always just be like, wow, and I'm like, goodness gracious, I wish we could all be happier.
The way the line was painted on the racetrack, and is it the line? Is it the timing line? Is it a picture? Is it what is it? And everybody's there, and all of us. I think I say all of us, like all of NASCAR, fandom was all learning something in those, that hour after the race. Or reminded about how the procedures go. And so even in the best moment, even in our best moments, there is, some criticism rumbling. And that's the state of the world these days. I think, we all, I'm as guilty as anybody. When I get on social media, my first real reaction is to complain about something. I go on there to complain, or I don't like this. Why is it like this? Why are we doing this? And I have to check myself and go, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. And
so I go easy. I have a little grace for any of the struggles that IndyCar may be going through, or some of the challenges that F1 may have, or NASCAR, because it is not easy to run a national series in this country. And there are going to be hard times. There are going to be great times. I believe everything cycles. When it's up, it's always going to come back down. When it's down, it's going to get back up. And you just have to stay the course and stay diligent and don't give up, right? And so yeah, NASCAR's went through some hard times, and things are nice right now. I mean, we've had bigger years and bigger. We've certainly had moments when our audience were bigger, and the reach of the superstars in our sport was broader. But we're all right now, and I'd like to see it, going up. I'd like to see things growing a little faster than they are. The audience is getting better. I don't really know why that is, but our numbers aren't too bad, but certainly we always want them to have more. And IndyCar is going through some struggles, but I think they'll figure it out. I have to believe that everybody is like-minded in what they want from the sport in terms of owners and drivers, and certainly Roger Penske and everybody involved in running the show. So I have to believe that, and I've been around Roger, man. He's easy, he's not, and maybe other people, especially in IndyCar, know him differently or experience things differently with him. but I know him to be reasonable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and dude, he's been successful in just about everything he's ever had involvement in. So I do not think that he wants this to fail, and he wants any of that on his legacy. So I expect this season to build momentum, storylines to develop, and the Indy 500 couldn't get here soon enough. So this is going to be a hell of a month, and I think they'll capitalize on all of the attention.